This is the 2020 Volkswagen Atlas Crossport, or I suppose we could call it the Atlas 2/3. And the only reason why we would call it that is because this is the two-row, five-seater version of the three-row large mid-sized Atlas SUV. Let's talk about styling right away. The important things that you need to know actually, and if you look carefully at the Atlas Crossport, as you see it on your screen there, you'll notice that the wheelbase is enormous. That's because it is identical to that of the three-row SUV. So that might give you a hint as to how spacious it is inside. I'll show you in a few moments. The three-row Atlas is much longer, maybe 8 centimeters now we're looking at with the new bumpers for 2021. But the real difference is right there in the roof line, how it drops off, tapers off to the rear end, and where you can see that that hatch is, well, it's a very coupe-like profile, and to be quite honest, I think it looks really good. It's funny, last week I was talking about the Explorer, how it had a very tall belt line. So does the Atlas Crossport. Somehow I'm getting back into it after this COVID lockdown, and I'm realizing how small the windowed surfaces, the greenhouse of these SUVs has become. But it works. I mean, every angle on this SUV is really good. Look how squat and fat this thing looks. I think, anyway, it looks really good. The differences between the trims, I'll give you the prices in a moment. Visually, if you do a quick run around, well, it's the 20-inch wheels that give away this vehicle, and a few extra shiny bits here and there. I'll just do a quick walk around towards the front. And there you go. There's that fat, squat, broad hood. Very attractive. Very unique and distinctive Volkswagen design. And here's that new logo. I've been talking about it for a little while. Oh, while I'm here, I gotta show you this. Does that look like a dealer add-on or something that would have been done by a technician at Canadian Tire? It's absolutely horrible. But yeah, so base price for 2020 Atlas Crossport is $38,995. For that price, you get 4Motion standard, 2-liter turbo, 8-speed automatic transmission, 6.5-inch screen on the inside, blind spot monitoring, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and 18-inch wheels, so it's actually quite well equipped. Now moving up to the comfort line, you're looking at $45,195. You still have the 2-liter for that price, but you do get the panoramic sunroofs, stupid sunroof, 8-inch screen, adaptive cruise control, keyless entry, heated steering wheel, power hatch, so on and so forth. I can tell you right now, that is the version to get. That is definitely bang for the buck, absolutely the best thing you can do for yourself. I might as well say it now. If you get the 2-liter, you're looking at about 2,000 pounds worth of towing capacity. Now, with the comfort line, you can upgrade to the VR6 for an extra $2,200, so that's $47,395. Now, my tester is a $54,495 exec line. Yeah. So you get the 20-inch wheels, as I said, the cooled seats, Fender audio, digital cockpit, and a whole bunch of other active safety features and other niceties. I mean, and VR6 is standard. The V6 is standard with the exec line. I mean, it's nice, all that equipment, but wow, $54,495. The only way you can actually visually improve on this is if you get the R-Line package, which is an extra $1,600, which includes 21-inch wheels. Visibly or visually, yes, it would be an improvement, but I don't think it would help the ride. Anyway, let's do the usual tour because that's what we're all about. Okay, so pyro hatch as the mid trim, and as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the best things. There you go. The sun's not exactly cooperating, but this is 1,141 liters of trunk space. I think only the GMC Acadia matches it, or just about, and the Honda Passport beats it. You can also stuff stuff under here if you wanted to. Good bins here. Lift over height is actually fairly high. This is between, well, mid-thigh actually, but still, that is a lot of trunk space. Now remember what I said about the same length wheelbase. this is where it all comes down. I don't remember a vehicle that I've reviewed, an SUV, that has had so much distance between my seat back and my driving position and my son's baby seat. That is humongous. He cannot stretch, not even come close to touching the seat back with his shoes or his feet. So you have an immense amount of legroom back here. And it's so wide that you could easily squeeze a normal sized adult in between the two baby seats if you really had to. No other fancy features. You get the rear heated seats, USB ports in the back. This, always a lovely touch. Love these. My tester actually has a Cinnamon Titan color combination, which is a no cost option on the exec line, and it looks fantastic. And these seats are actually as comfortable or almost as they look. The driver's side has power lumbar support, but it's not quite enough. Reminds me of my Golf seats. Well, look, lovely stitching, lovely materials, beautiful presentation, Fender audio. However, yeah, like the Atlas, like the Explorer, I mean, manufacturers are cutting corners, but I don't know. I guess it's tolerable because once you slide in, so let's do that. Yeah, there we go. Push start button. There's your 12.3-inch digital cockpit, which is beautiful. It's configurable. A few things can change with the drive modes, which you get in this. I'm gonna back up as much as I possibly can. This is a steering wheel too. Looks fantastic. The grip is beautiful, and I'm not sure what to make of that. It's very subtle, very elegant, but wrong at the same time somehow. I don't know. Fit and finish is very nice. The presentation is subtle, elegant, very German-like, and very familiar, especially when you come down the center as your 8-inch screen. I love how the buttons, see how quickly they respond. I didn't even want to touch that, but they work very well. So you have fixed commands here on both sides, and you have other, look at that, you saw that, it's got a little sensor that will show up an extra menu there. HVAC controls the Climatronic, which comes with the mid-trim. Very simple, very lovely. These are your drive modes, which appear up here. There you go. And you have various 4Motion, off-road mode kind of things. There you go. Storage in here is fantastic. The door bins are enormous. I hope that's not a dirty Kleenex. No? Okay. That's great. I love this. And check this out. I mean, if your kids misbehave, you shouldn't. Visibility generally is good except for right here. Yeah, that is an enormous blind spot. You can't see when you're making that sharp left what's actually going on here. But you'd have blind spot monitoring at the base vehicle for the back. But anyway, overall, very, very good visibility. And driving this thing is just about as good. In fact, probably, no, it is just as good. Anyhow. Enough chit chat about this, and let's take it for a spin. Alright, so driving the 2020 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport isn't exactly a revelation at all, in fact. It really does feel like a regular 3-row Atlas with only about 90% of the real estate behind you. And that is not to say that it's unpleasant. Far from, in fact. But one of the things that is unpleasant is fuel consumption, and I have to mention it right now because I'm still shocked. With the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, you're looking at a combined average of between 11.5 and 12 liters per 100 kilometers, which means that in the city, you could be doing 14 liters per 100 kilometers. With a V6, add 1 liter per 100 kilometers to that average. So 12.5 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers. And if you're driving in, in your little urban neighborhood, as I am right now, you're pushing 15 liters per 100 kilometers. If you do that on a steady, on the steady. I'm averaging just over 11 liters per 100 kilometers, almost 11.5, only because yesterday I did a 400 kilometer road trip, of which only about 10% ended up being in the city. But the fact is that fuel consumption on these SUVs is terrible. Actually makes them some of the worst in the segment, which is saying a lot. But even so, the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine puts out 235 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque as of 1600 RPM. So you have plenty of get up and go, even with the 4-cylinder, even though I've not driven it. Although I wish that's what this was. The VR6 still puts out 276 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque, but as of 3600 RPM. So right off the line, the acceleration probably feel almost identical. But remember, the 4-cylinder is not a guarantee of fuel economy. It is not, no. In 2,000 pounds towing, possibly, versus 5,000 pounds towing. Yes, that is the main difference. Standard with all of these Atlases, 8-speed automatic transmission and 4 motions. And the 8-speed is actually a willing participant. I mean, you put the hammer down, I'm in normal drive mode, and it responds fairly quickly. It will hesitate in the 2-1 downshift on occasion, but otherwise, it's there, right there with you. There is one other big difference, or the biggest difference between the V6 and the 4-cylinders. The VR is still extremely buttercreamy smooth. So smooth, and it still makes lovely noise. It's not the R6 from the Mark III Golf and Jetta from the 90s, but it still makes a nicer noise than a lot of other V6s that would compete with this thing. What else can I say? The ride, the handling, it drives really well. I mean, the steering wheel does, or the front wheels do what you tell them to do. It doesn't talk to you, doesn't communicate. There's, ways up nicely, but all you'll notice is that it actually handles quite well when you toss it into your favorite on-ramp or whatever. But beyond that, the 20-inch wheels are right at the limit of damping comfort. If you take the R-Line package with the 21-inch wheels, I think you might regret that, because on some of the rougher stuff like this, it won't be pleasant at all. 20-inch wheels, you're just fine. The dampers can actually handle those changes in amplitude. With the 18s, with the Comfort Line and Trend Line, I'm almost certain, I'm certain that it handles just as nicely, but gives you that extra ounce of comfort that you really want anyway. That about sums it up. I mean, the brakes are fine, vented discs at every corner. I really, really like the Atlas Cross Sport. I knew I would, because I do enjoy the Atlas. See, here we go. No drama, nothing, and I was, doing reasonable speed, although it probably doesn't show. And in this segment, against the Santa Fe, the Grand Cherokee, the Passport, I'm skipping a whole bunch. The Edge, I'm missing a few others. Easily in the top 5, if not the top 3. The Passport is probably your best bet out of the entire bunch. But otherwise, as far as styling is concerned, and if you stick to the Trend Line and Comfort Line, you're getting decent value for the money. Just remember that you'll have to stop at your local gas stations or wherever it is you're going, maybe more often than you like.